Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm going to show you guys how to shred, or at least how I learned how to shred, I guess. I didn't even know, it's so weird, like the concept of shredding is like, I never even knew, like, you know, there's not one day and you wake up and you're like, oh, I can shred now. It's like, I don't know when it happens. It's just like you just play and then you could do it. You can play fast when you just keep on practicing or whatever. Alright, here's how you do it. Okay, first you gotta learn your scales. What you do is practice your scales running up and down them using a metronome, like so. This is A Aeolian, or A minor, basically. Just like that, but like, I would alternate pick it, because there's like a bunch of different things you can do. You can like economy pick it or whatever, but like, alternate pick so you can use the most power, you know, like do the same thing that I taught in the sweeping lesson or whatever, and pick hard and fret hard, to where you can like hear the attack on the pick. So it just gets you stronger, it makes your fingers stronger, and makes you better so you can play more easily. And then like once you do the first shape, then you move to the second shape. Or something like that, you know, you can make up different exercises for yourself. But basically you just want to learn the scale, and you want to go up and down them. And once you learn the scales kind of relatively well, I mean like do all the positions of the scale so that you know the shape. Because it's like, that's how I play whenever I lead. I just go by patterns. Like I'm just like, okay, what's the root? And then I find the root, and then I'm like, okay, and then all the shapes go like this and relative to their position or whatever. And then after you learn the scale relatively well, then I would start playing with backing tracks, because it forces you to play in a certain key. And like once you can play in a key, then you can lead over anything, you know, like doesn't matter what key it is, you already know the shapes, you just gotta kind of like remember the shapes as you're leading over them. I would also play with backing tracks that have like the scales showing on the screen. So that way you can like, there's plenty of them too, they're all over YouTube, and just play along with it, you know, and just like look at the screen, and like you've already been practicing the scales a little bit, so your fingers kind of know where to go, and just look at the screen and just like play along. And play along with the backing track or whatever, and try to make it, you know, try to express yourself through it. You're gonna start babbling at first, because it's like a baby, you know, a baby doesn't just like pop out of the womb and automatically start spitting verses or whatever. It takes time, you know. They babble and everything first, so you have to think the same way with guitar and your instrument. It's like you're learning how to talk on your instrument and sing eventually, you know. But first you gotta babble, then you can talk, and then you can sing, and you gotta go through these same steps on your instrument. Okay, when you do that, and I was doing that for a while, and you know, I couldn't get the feeling out of it that, you know, other guitar players could, so I looked up videos on it and everything and researched it, and what I found was chord tones are the key to leading, really. It's like, they're the strongest notes that you can play. So you always want to like start and end on chord tones. Well, you don't always, but like, you know, it's a good rule. It makes it sound good to somebody who doesn't know music theory or anything. Like, you know, they already know it. This is the crazy thing. It's like subconsciously they know it, because they know it sounds good, and you know it too. But yeah, the chord tones, which are the root, third, and the fifth, usually, of the scale. And like, if you don't know theory, then I suggest you learn at least some theory, because it will help you so much. You know, it helps you gain perspective on sound and why people do what they do, you know, because like I always thought like theory is like, it's just a waste of time, and like, you know, once you learn theory, then you're gonna be all robotic and everything and predictable. But it's good to learn. I mean, it might make you a little bit more predictable, but first you learn the rules first, and then you can break the rules so that you stand out and your style is different from everybody else. But it's good to learn them first, otherwise, you know, you could wander around aimlessly forever. But yeah, chord tones. chord tones, root third and fifth. So like the scale we were playing, A minor, the chord tones would be those notes right there, which like is a chord. It's basically a chord. But those are the strongest notes to land on whenever you start your phrase and end your phrase. So like usually you want to like end on the root or leading up to the root, so it really comes back powerful. Yeah, the chord tones are important to a good lead. Now, and moving on to speed, to the shred, really legato is like the fastest thing you could do on guitar and sound clean, you know, and it's easily accessible as long as you like practice your fingers and everything. And legato is basically just like hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff like that. And you know, it looks all flashy and everything, but it's really easy. And like once you get the pattern, and you don't have to pick it. And so like that's why you can get so much faster, because you only got to pick it once. Really. So it's easier on your right hand, or your left hand, if you're playing left-handed or whatever. But yeah, it's easier on your picking hand because you don't have to do as much work, and you don't have to, you know, hit everything as cleanly. You can just hit that first note clean and then do it like that. The legato helps, yeah, but like, how do you shred using legato? And this is something that like Paul Gilbert taught me is like really easy. There's patterns that repeat every octave. So for example, that first little minor scale shape here repeats right here in the octave. So it's basically because those are the same notes, it's just an octave higher. And then you go down here. And it's all the same thing, so it's easy to remember, you know, and like if you want to shred to do something flashy, then just use legato and then follow that path down and then go back up it or whatever. And it's like a really easy way to obtain speed fast. And like the cool thing about that is that like if you're learning your scale shapes and everything, then you could just change positions and it works the same way. And those 3 octave shapes there, you just legato. Or something like that, you know. But yeah, just do that, and then like, you know, you can go that way. You can travel up and down the scale, and you can be all flashy and everything, and impress people or whatever. And it's really just like the same shape repeating in the pattern like that. And you know, but you know, shredding's cool and all, but like don't do it all the time. And just do it whenever the music calls for it, and you can express yourself. And like, okay, this part's a part where I need to, you know, kind of go faster. And usually it sounds best to me whenever there's like a break in the music and like everything's going fast, and then it hits the breakdown, and then like when they hit the breakdown, like that's when you like haul balls, and like it cuts through the music a lot more. But yeah, that's basically how I would say you can learn how to shred pretty easily. Just practice those things, you know, get your alternate picking down, learn your scales, practice the backing tracks, chord tones for leading, definitely, and the octave patterns is like the easiest way to shred that I know of, you know. But like don't limit yourself to that though, you know. Don't just get that and like, okay, I can shred now, that's all I need. Like just break outside of that. Once you learn how to go fast and like impress people and build your confidence up, and then like just go for more than that, you know. Try to come up with different, you know, go outside the scales, learn all the different scales, you know, you can learn, and know the different notes you can throw in there, you know, and change the scales as you're playing, as you're leading. and do unorthodox stuff, you know, like the sky's the limit really, so don't limit yourself to just shredding and then like don't learning anymore. Go higher. Can you take me higher? Anyways, yeah, that's it. That's the lesson. So peace. Have a good day.